direction, the red and white gates in an upstream direction, and negotiation is determined by your head. Your whole head must go between the poles and at least part of your boat at the same time. And there's judges all down the riverbank, but also there's lots of video angles to review any penalties, and we'll see that through the course of our commentary today. We'll see when the video judges will be reviewing penalties.
Yeah, it looks like she had a tough time on these last staggers. Definitely the bottom of the course is tricky. The water is sticky, and if you're a little bit offline, it's super hard to get back into it. So it seems like she had a bit of a hard time.
So stopping the clock, 1:39.24. It does include 3 touches. That's 6 seconds of penalties, and well, it's more a reflection of just the power of the white water as we join our next competitor on course, Yanxi Huang of the People's Republic of China, already up on the split from reflecting really the challenges that the previous competitor had on the top part of the course. So we've talked about this, water is very low here, and the physical demands of the course, 8 upstream gates, and almost as you go down, the water gets less helpful. It's almost flatter and slower, but still quite boily.
Yeah, exactly. The water is like super boily, so you have to be in line. And these staggers that they've said with 8 ups as well, it's like it's tricky to manage to do them well, and you have to keep the boat moving and keep that glide so that your speed carries.
So a better run coming together though for Huang of the People's Republic of China. Just takes this down in the eddy, goes for the spin. Now the fastest lines on there will definitely be trying to take that on forwards. Remember, the athletes are kneeling in the boat with a single bladed paddle. They're kneeling, they're strapped in to give them maximum connection with the boat, and you will see a lot of the athletes, not everyone, but a lot of the athletes will be switching the blade, so between the left and the right side, to optimize the lines and the particular gate sequences. So a better run, 1:16.82. Yanxi Huang of the People's Republic of China takes the early race lead. Remember, 30 boats in this women's canoe semi-final here. We're live from Slovenia, and well, we'll start to be looking at who is going to qualify into the top 10 to race in the final. So on course now, Hannah Süß of Germany. Good to see the German team back after the they had to withdraw last weekend because they had a couple of positive cases of COVID within the team. But good to see everyone back and competing, including we'll have Elena Lilik, the world champion, later on in this women's canoe semi-final.
Yeah, definitely. So important to have them here. Such a strong team, and I think it pulls such a better competition to have them in the semi-final and hopefully finals.
And of course we'll be in Augsburg, Germany in a month's time. In fact, the competition starts a month today, the 26th of July, for the World Championships. But Hannah Süß of Germany rejected on the move, running into gate 10, and well, it's all over.
Yeah, that's sad. She kind of got dropped down by the hole there. It's a tricky hole. It always looks like people just go in it pretty easy, but sometimes if you catch a boil, it's easy to drop down. It seems like that's what happened to her, and then she didn't fight back to get back up.
Yes, and you've got to keep your boat quite flat, haven't you, as you go over. If you give it too much edge, then that stopper will take you to the river right.
Exactly. There's a little coil there that just grabs you and like taps right or you to the right, and it's easy to float downstream.
So unfortunately for Hannah Süß of Germany, it is into 3rd place, and well, those 50-second penalties making the final impossible today. So next up for Slovakia, Sona Stanovska, silver medalist at the 2017 Junior World Championships. She's also won a bronze at the Junior World Championships in this event, so she's very capable of getting in, but already just took her hand off the T-piece. That's the handle at the top of the paddle, and that has got her just out of sorts on the top.
Yeah, they switch paddles in places that it's pretty hard, like in the middle of the hole, so they don't lose time and stuff. So I think it's kind of crazy. It doesn't happen more often, but seems like she dropped it a little bit.
Well, she was a finalist here at the Under-23 World Championships last year, so she has got some positive memories of this place, and there's definitely a certain skill to paddling here on Tartzen, or certainly paddling fast here on Tartzen.
Yes, definitely. I think it's a tricky course. If you know it well, I think it can give you a big advantage. And being like aggressive and very dynamic, I think it's key.
And it is about, you're right, it's being aggressive, being reactive, but more than anything, it is being able to really hold those lines.
Definitely. Keeping with the flow, keeping the boat flat and gliding through the lines. And if you're able to do that, I think you can have a really good run.
So Sona Stanovska is in touch with the second split on race leader Huang of the People's Republic of China, coming into the penultimate upstream. So 1.62 down on the race lead. And at the moment, well, 3 touches, 6 seconds of penalties on the clock. And I think we can confidently say there's probably space to have a penalty, or maybe even 2 to get in the top 10, but you can't afford any more than that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's hard in this course to be clean. If you're able to do it, it'll give you a huge advantage. But I think we might see some penalties for the final.
Well, just outside the top lead place for Sona Stanovska, 3/100ths of a second out into second place as we watch Noemi Fox of Australia set off on her charge. Well, that's a great line through into gate 1 on the top drop, and she's looking very positive, very composed in the early stages.
Yes, definitely. That was a good line. She kept all her speed going into that upstream gate. So it looks like she's keeping the flow for now.
So she was 6th at the World Championships last year in Bratislava on the big wall. Yesterday in the kayak events, that it was just so easy to lose a lot of time without really noticing where you'd lost it.
Yeah, exactly. I think this course is specific for that. It's hard to know where you're losing the time. It's just a tiny bit off the line, and you're losing a little second here and there, and it adds up.
So a little bit deep on 13, and pays a price, a 2-second penalty, but that's the only penalty at the moment, and she is still up now. She's turned that deficit into an advantage despite the 2-second penalty. So Noemi Fox, tight in on 18, is putting a good run together. And importantly, down the bottom, she still looks like she's got some energy in the tank.
Yeah, she looks like she's going for it. She looks still super active. I think it could be a good run.
So 1:14.82, that's the lead time at the moment. It looks like Noemi Fox of Australia is going to take the race lead by a few seconds here. And she does indeed by over 3 seconds. And you can just see the physical demands there. And well, there's the elder sister Jessica Fox, the Olympic champion, wearing bib number 1, was watching her every move down the course as she goes to prepare. Of course, she was fastest in the heat, so she goes last in the semi-final. Next on course, Kate Eckhart of Australia, and problems already on the top of the course.
Yeah, it's super important on that drop to stay on the right side of the flow and then have your speed like on the outside curler to cross that water. If you're a little bit deep in the hole, it's hard. It will just stop you, so it's important to keep that speed. It seemed like she was a little bit too far center, so it rejected her.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's such a fine line because logic says you know the upstream's on the left, you want to stay in touch with the left, but you don't want to get stuck in the hole because that will cost you a lot of time and a lot of energy. So you have to try and skirt around the outside, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. It's a tight line. I think it's really fun. It's a fun line, but it's tricky.
So Kate Eckhart now exiting the upstream gate 10. She's 7 seconds down on the early split. That's very nice though, through 10 through to 13. She will pick up a bit of time, I'm sure, on the clock. Now, if you're wondering, as they come out of 13 and the athletes hitting gate 12, if you're wondering why there's no penalty awarded, it is quite simply because once you have negotiated a gate and you've gone and negotiated the next one, then the previous gate is then dead. It's void, so you can touch it if you need to.
Yes.
Without any penalties. So just in case there's a bit of confusion as to why there's no penalty awarded there. And Kate Eckhart now, she's going to challenge the race lead, and it's going to be just outside, but that's a really tidy run, and the second clean run of the day. So there, Kate Eckhart of Australia, a smile there.
Yeah.
And into second place, just behind Noemi Fox of Australia. Now, Michaela Corcoran of Ireland on course, and a good start in and out of gate 1, really keeping the momentum, and now the opportunity to really drive that boat, and she looks like she's found the rhythm at the top.
Definitely, she's kept the line really well right now. Hopefully she can keep the whole course down. She's a good paddler, and she knows Tatson well, so I think she can pull a really good run together.
So she's up on the split by nearly 2 seconds over Fox of Australia, and yeah, she really does look like she's got that confidence. She's paddling in a really attacking but confident and not risky kind of way.
Definitely, she looks super composed. Her boat is really gliding with the water. She knows what the water is going to do, and she's using it to her advantage. It's very nice to watch. It's important here to stay on the inside. Let's hope she touched a little bit on the outside.
So you can see there she ended up too deep, takes the penalty, being the first touch on the run, and that has trimmed the advantage, but it is still an advantage. But now she has taken a penalty on gate 16, so it's pretty much level pegging between her and race leader Noemi Fox of Australia.
Yeah, I think it's looking still like a solid run. These last gates is still, you can lose a lot of time even on these last upstream, so. Respectable run for sure.
So, on course now, Doriane Delassou of France, just 19 years old. The French B team, it may even be the C team, that are here. Certainly the young development team out here in Tartzen, but don't be, well.
They may be the BC team in France, but that's still.
Yeah, don't be deceived, because they could well come punching into the final.
Definitely.
So Doriane is, well, she is part of the Delassou family, who is a bit of a dynasty in terms of France. And we saw Marjorie last weekend. Delassou was on the podium, I think. And she's not racing this weekend, but it's very much an opportunity for these young paddlers to get experience. Doriane was 8th at the Junior World Championships in 2019, and I'm sure we'll be competing in Ivrea in Italy in what is a couple of weeks' time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty soon.
Junior and under 23 World Championships in that beautiful city of Ivrea, and you can follow that. The live stream will be running, I think, on Planet Canoe. You won't have my commentary, but you might enjoy that. A break from that. The next time we'll be on air after this World Cup will be for the World Championships in Augsburg, Germany, celebrating 50 years since the Olympic Games in 1972, where canoe slalom made its debut on the well, historic course, and there's been huge amounts of investment on that Augsburg course, and really looking forward to getting back racing there. We haven't raced there for a while.
Yeah, no, it will be my first race there. I'm excited. So it looks like a fun course, so.
So Doriane Delassou of France goes into 6th place, 1:16.03. That just includes a 2-second penalty on the downstream gate 11. Well, here's the first of our big names, you could say. Klaudia Swalinska of Poland. Then she was 4th at the under-23 Europeans last year. She was 6th last weekend in Krakow, made the final. And, well, what can she do here? She's a very strong physical paddler, Klaudia.
Yeah, she's She's definitely a very strong paddler. I really like her technique in kayaking. Um, and I think in C1 she's also a very talented paddler. So if she can keep that flow that she's having right now, I think she can put down a really fast run.
See how she switches the blade there to set herself up for this move into the upstream gate 10. Just a little bit just to force the line there into 10, but no problems, no real time lost out. Spins on 11. Now she'll be aiming to come in forwards on 12, and she's late for 13.
A bit late. Here it's important to stay on the inside of that pole. It's super easy to get those boils take you to the left and miss the gate like she almost did.
Yeah, we had a great angle there that just showed. As soon as she got stationary, really no boat speed itself, the water took over, pushed her sideways, and that has really, well, crippled her challenge for the race lead. She was right in touch with the first split, but now 6 seconds down just for that one real mistake around gate 13.
Yeah, she's still very composed. She's always a very composed paddler, super good position in the boat. But I think it might be a little slow.
Look at that, silky smooth in and out
Yeah.
to the upstream 21.
Very nice.
And she has trimmed the deficit there, but 6th place for Claudia Smolinska. And it is still Noemi Fox of Australia leading ahead of Kate Eckhart of Australia, Michaela Corcoran of Ireland. Those are our top 3 as we get towards the third of the way down this women's canoe semi-final. 30 boats racing for 10 places in the final, and on course now, Avi Liebfarth of the United States of America. Avi is very familiar with this course. She's a bronze medalist from the under-23 Worlds, in fact the Junior Worlds last year.
Yeah, and I think she's very good in this course. She likes it, and she can go really fast if she keeps together the line. She's a very fast paddler in this course. I think she could be a big name on the final today.
So she finished 10th last weekend in Krakow. That was her first final in the World Cup Series in this event. And, well, she's won 2 bronze medals here on this course in World Cups in 2019 and 2020. So you surely favour her to be pushing for a place in the final. But first of all, she's got to get into the top 10. She is up on the split by 5 seconds at the moment.
That was very nice that she did those straight, and that's hard to do, so she kept that speed on the boat.
She has a very busy paddling style compared to some people, but it seems to favour her on this course, where actually keeping your paddle in the water, keeping the boat moving fast is useful to staying in control. Avi Liebfarth surely is going to take the race lead by some margin. Look at that, she's extended it at the bottom. A 102.28. Avi Liebfarth, the United States of America, is the new race leader, and surely that's going to challenge for the final.
Definitely, and a clean run as well, which is hard in this course, so that's cool to watch.
Sophie Ogilvie for Great Britain now starts her semi-final run, going for a place in the final. And a very nice, tidy, smooth line into the first gate. And so important to get the rhythm early on and build into the run, isn't it?
Yeah, I think definitely that first drop sets a little bit the tone for the rest of the race. If you have a smooth line there, it's easy to carry that speed downstream. Yeah.
So she switches the blade, getting ready for this upstream gate 6, which is tricky, but look at this. 2.37 up on Liebfarth of the United States of America. Sophie Ogilvie again looking like she's found the rhythm.
Definitely, she looks like she's keeping that boat moving forward.
She just takes a penalty though on the downstream gate 8, so needs to make sure she doesn't pick up any more touches. That's cancelled out the advantage now, but this is the critical move. Just sticky on 11. Gets the tail down now. She's got to hold that entry pole on 13, and she does that well.
Very good exit there.
Unfortunately there, picks up another penalty on the downstream gate 14. And let's have a look on the split. We'll get an indication of where she compares. Now 1.76 down on Liebfarth of the United States. Well, partly that's the 4 seconds of penalties. but also not the tidiest in that middle section.
Yeah, that's definitely a key section in this course. So it's important to keep very focused on that section.
Well, Liebvarth has been given a 2-second penalty on gate 7 after a review. And look, Sophie Ogilvie of Great Britain goes into second place, 5.7 seconds down. So there's still lots of time trading hands. She was quick on the top, but didn't quite find the time at the bottom. And it's still Liebvarth now leading ahead of Ogilvie, and then Fox in third place, as we are now 11 boats down. 19 boats still to go in this women's canoe semi-final. Lena Tunissen of Netherlands is now on course, coming into the upstream gate 3. Wow, super tight.
Yeah, very tight.
Precision is the name of the game in this sport of canoe slalom. And well, here on the really crystal clear waters of the River Sava, there might not be much water, but it is always a nice spectacle to come here. This competition venue, Tarsen, has been hosting canoe slalom competitions since 1939. Held the World Championships on 3 occasions, 1955. Then the artificial course was constructed in 1990, and then hosted the 1991 World Championships, and then the 2010 World Championships. So in touch at the top split for Tunissen of the Netherlands, but that penalty on 13 there. Again, a lot of people being pushed deep.
Yeah, it's easy to lose the inside blade there and get pushed with those boils to the outside pole.
Yeah, and that gate 16, a downstream in the eddy, the slack water there. It's so easy to lose the run of the boat and need to re-accelerate. That uses other vital energy as well as giving you some time loss on the clock.
Yeah, I think when you look at it, it almost looks like it's not a lot of current, but when you're in there, it's still a strong boily current that you need to push through and have a good line.
So, stopping the clock, 1:11.72 for Lena Tunissen of the Netherlands, and that is good enough for 4th place at the moment, but it is still Avi Liebvarth leading ahead of Sophie Ogilvie and Noemi Fox, the top 3, as we now look at Simona Glejčová of Slovakia. 2 World Cup finals in 2016. We haven't seen too much of her since then, but she's clearly capable of putting in a good run. And well, after a bit of a surf from 2 to 3, looks like she's certainly got the skills and got the rhythm.
Definitely very good on those 2 downstream gates. We'll see these upstreams.
So nearly 2 seconds down on the top split, but most of the time is won and lost in the middle and the bottom section. This middle section, this move from the upstream gate 10 through to the exit of the upstream 13, and lots of time trading hands, and there's a penalty. 2 seconds picked up on the upstream gate 10. It's a good controlled spin on 11. Now could get the bows round and hold tight in on 13. So the penalty's just starting to add up here.
Yeah, it's definitely an easy place to pick up penalties.
Well, Avi Liebvarth was very quick in the middle section, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was very quick. She did those staggers like super well and straight down. It was very impressive. So I think definitely can be done. And there's some big names coming up, so it will be a good semi-final.
So on this field we have 2 of the 3 medalists from the Olympic Games in Tokyo. The Olympic champion Jessica Fox, silver medalist Mallory Franklin. We also have the world champion of 2021 Elena Lilig as well, so still some big names to come. And stopping the clock there, Glejčová of Slovakia, 1:15.03. So Fanchon Janssen of France now sets off on her run, and well, already a penalty on the first gate.
Yeah, and we've seen what that can do, either propel you forward and make you go faster and have a good run, or kind of lose it a little bit. So hopefully she can keep it together.
It didn't hamper Jessica Fox yesterday.
Yeah, no, that's
She-
what I mean. I think it can propel you forward or not, or distract you.
So Jessica Fox yesterday, the kayak final, clattered gate 1, but she held it together despite actually not being very well yesterday, and she made it 3 back-to-back wins in the first 3 World Cups. So a great start to her campaign in the kayak to defend her World Cup title, but she hasn't been so consistent in the canoe this season.
Yeah, not as much in the canoe, but I mean 3 golds in kayak is quite impressive.
So at the moment, it's just a little bit of time troubles in the middle here for Fonchon Janssen of France now. Time and penalties adding up, and look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches now. And so easy, isn't it? One mistake, and then you get offline, you perhaps start thinking about the mistake, you lose your concentration, and suddenly you've got a whole armful of penalties.
Yeah, definitely. You lose your concentration, and also even if you don't, if you are a little bit offline in gate 1, and also keep reflecting on the next gate since they are so close together. So it's important. That's why it's so crucial to keep that line moving downstream.
So it's not going to be a final today for Fonchon Janssen of France. 1:27.36, and it's the penalties that were significant there. Victoria Wolfhart of Austria now just having to spot that line. She comes down the drop, a little bit held in the middle, but she uses her experience, just is patient, and then delivers gate 1.
Yeah, really nice from 2 to 3.
Quite a surprise, because Victoria has yet to make a final in the World Cup this season in the canoe event. She is the European champion of 2018, but well, she is in touch. That's very close. 0.15 at the top of the course. She's delivered the first part of the course. Now, this is where our race leader, Liebwarth of the United States of America, was very strong indeed. And we'd expect Wolfhart to be able to compete and challenge the lead time.
Definitely, I think she's capable of it. I think it's important to keep the focus. I think she can do that. So
Nicely through
very
12
nice,
and 13.
yeah.
She's won 4 World Cup medals in this event in her career. And, well, in order to get on the podium, she's got to get in the final first. Sneaks around, but that costs her a bit of time, as well as that penalty on gate 14. And the Austrians, obviously being in close proximity here, this will be a fairly familiar course for them. So you would expect that local knowledge to play its part.
Definitely, I think it is. It's still a solid run. She's lost a little bit of time, but it might still be.
The time slips away at the bottom, doesn't it? Nearly 7 seconds the deficit, 1:11.26. And you can just see she was almost too tight on the poles at the bottom, unable to fit the paddle in and really open up, keep that boat running. And Victoria Wolfhart goes into 3rd place ahead of Noemi Fox of Australia, but it's still Liebwarth leading for the United States ahead of Sophie Ogilvie and now Victoria Wolfhart, as we are at the halfway point in this women's canoe semi-final here live in Tarsen, Slovenia. And on course now, Miren Lazcano for Spain.
Nice, a little bit early, a little bit in front of the gate, but she managed to do a good upstream, even though she picked up a penalty.
Again, another European champion. She won in 2021 last season. She was the European champion in this event, but has yet to make a World Cup final this season. 11th is her best in Prague, 17th last weekend in Krakow. But about 5.8 seconds down on the top split. That's quite an ask to come back from that.
Yeah.
Oh, she takes it on forwards on 11.
She's definitely a very strong paddler. Very, very strong. She's always has the physical strength to do well in this course.
And, well, she has picked up another penalty in the middle there. She was deep on 13, But you can see she did have the pace in the middle section. She has the deficit hasn't extended. And as you say, Sophia, her physicality, you can tell at the bottom she's still got energy in the tank.
You can see that she's still putting down some really good strokes with a lot of strength. So she's a very good paddler.
Stops the clock in 8th place, 114.11. And at the moment showing 6 seconds of penalties. So that in particular is going to be what is significant and unlikely to make the final. Here's someone who has got the capabilities to make the final. Ana Chatila of Brazil. Again, another paddler who hasn't made a final yet this year in the women's canoe, but you would favour her to make the final on here.
Definitely. I think she's got everything for it, and I think she's definitely hungry for a medal today, so it could be a very good run for her. She
won the World Cup here in 2020, so she's no stranger to performing at the top end, and she's up on the split, nearly 0.4 of a second up on Liebfart of the United States of America, and you'd say Anna's attacking style would favour just taking control of the water here.
Yeah, definitely. Her style favors here. She's a very good paddler, and she's very dynamic. So I think in this course is definitely key. We'll see if she can keep that activeness for this bottom section over here.
Well, I'm not sure if that was plan A for Hannah on 11, but great reaction there as she switches and keeping it clean. Well, no, she did pick up a penalty on gate 11. I didn't see that, but half a second down, though. She is still in touch with the race leader, Liebfart of the United States of America. And Anna looks still very strong in the bottom section and likely to challenge the race lead.
Yeah, she's looking very strong.
Well, here she comes into the final upstream gate. Gate 21. 104.28 is the time to beat. She's going to be outside that, but she's surely going to go into the top 3. She does. Into second place for Ana Chatila of Brazil. And, well, with 13 boats to go, you'd say that Davy Liebfart, Ana Chatila, maybe even Sophie Ogilvie are in with a good shout of a place in the final.
Definitely. I think this course you can, it's important to adapt, and that's where experience plays a very important role. And she was able to adapt really well.
On course now, the World Cup champion overall from 2021. It is Teresa Fiserova of the Czech Republic. And she's had she had a win to start the season. Then she was 18th last weekend in Krakow. She lies 5th in the standings after the 2 races, and she's looking very competitive. Look at that, nearly 2 seconds up on the early split.
Yeah, very smooth in that 2 to 3. I think she gained a lot of time there.
So she's really starting to make a name for herself, not just in the canoe events, but she's in the senior team in kayak now for the first time, and starting to really show her mark in the kayak as well at senior level.
Definitely. Even in extreme slalom, I think she's putting a name for herself out there, for sure.
You're right, she did. She won the first of the World Cups in extreme kayak. You can watch that here live at Planet Canoe, 4:30 this afternoon, head-to-head racing. And yeah, if you're not sure what that's all about, then well, come and watch it, 4:30 Central European time today. But look at that, 3.31 the advantage, and Fiserova has found her form just when it matters here in the semi-final.
Definitely, she managed those staggers really well.
She has picked up a 2-second penalty on gate 15, but at the moment she's still on track to take the race lead. And great exit on 21 now. She's going to be close actually, and outside, but into second place. So Fiserova of the Czech Republic, a good run, but it actually reinforces just how fast Evie Liebfart was.
Yeah, definitely, that was a great run for Evie.
12 boats to go in this women's canoe semi-final. Evie Liebfart leads for the United States ahead of Teresa Fiserova and Ana Chatila. As now the Slovenian Eva Alina Hočevar is on course. Already made the final yesterday in the kayak event. How good would it be for her to make it again in the canoe?
Yeah, so amazing. And such a young paddler in her home course. It's cool to watch.
Well, it's interesting, she has yet to make a final in the canoe this season. 13th was her best in Prague, 22nd last weekend in Krakow, but look, she is up on the race lead time, so very much on track. And I would say that her favourite event is probably the canoe.
Yeah, I could agree with that, and we'll see. I think she definitely has the intel on this course, which is important to know the course well. So I think as if now, if she keeps it together, very composed she looks, she can put down a fast run.
So a little penalty picked up on the back of the points there on gate 11, but very tight on 13. She will have, I think, still extended her advantage, even though she's picked up that penalty. And she has 1.38 now, the advantage. She is our virtual race leader. The Slovenian crowd is growing here. Ready. Yesterday it was the Kauser Army in town.
Yeah.
Today it is the Savsek Supporters Club who are here in force to support Benjamin Savsek, who will be up in the men's canoe semi-final later on. This follows on from this women's canoe semi-final.
Oh,
But
very fast run.
it looks like Eva Alina Hocheva is going to challenge for the race lead and is into the race lead. Well done, Eva Alina. Surely that's going to be good enough for a place in the final.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely. What a good run.
great run under pressure, and great to see her smiling there. She knows that's good. Hocheva leads for ahead of Liebvarth and Shatila, as on course is the world champion of 2021, Elena Lilik for Germany. She started off the season with a second place in Prague and then had to withdraw as part of the German team withdrawing from the event last weekend. And just look at the pace on the boat.
Yeah, definitely such a bummer they had to withdraw in Krakow, but she is definitely hungry today.
1.81 up on the split. The world champion is really giving us a demonstration of her caliber here as she comes down through gate 8 and 9. And now into this critical move, the double upstream through 10, then down 11, 12, into up 13.
Yeah, super amazing. She has that boat flat and moving downstream, using the water really well.
All these athletes make it look so easy. The white water here, as you go down the course, isn't as big, but it still needs that precision, those skills, and most importantly, the reactivity.
Yeah, definitely adaptation and reactivity to what's going on, and keeping that plan and that boat moving forward. It's super important, and she's really having a really good run.
Yeah, so she might be 1.5 seconds up on race leader, but I think she's actually got really good speed and pace at the bottom of the course. I think she's going to extend that.
Yeah. Well,
Well, here we go. She is coming towards the finish line, and she's going to smash the race lead time. 100.76. Elena Lilik goes into the race lead for Germany, ahead of Eva Alina Hocheva of Slovenia and Avi Liebvarth of the United States of America. Surely that's good enough for the final.
yeah, I think so.
Well, 10 to go, so we won't have to wait long to confirm that. But on course now, Lea Novak of Slovenia comes down the course and, well, a little rejected on the hole and goes low into gate 1.
Yeah, a little low. Easy to mess up that line. It's hard white water there.
How many times has she done that, you know, that move?
Perfectly.
We were saying that about Peter Kauser, you know, just you think how many times he's been down the drop in his career, and you've still got to deliver it, though, when it counts.
Yeah, definitely.
So Leia coming down, she was 7th at the World Cup here in Tartzen in 2020. Now to the second of these upstream 6-7, which are you're just glad to get away from those, really, aren't you?
Yeah.
They're not the nicest of upstream, particularly gate 6. And if you can get out without losing too much time, then you're probably away and pretty pleased.
Definitely. Just coming down to these daggers. It's a little hard here. Stuck there.
Well, great to hear the Slovenian crowd just getting behind their athletes. And it's the grandstand here. It's like an amphitheatre, isn't it? We were saying yesterday that you start off on the flat water at the top. You're almost removed from what's going on actually on the course and in the grandstand. Then you set off on your run, you go under the tunnel, and that's it. You come down the drop, and you've got the grandstand and the noise.
Definitely, and the spectators are so close to the water that it really feels like they're beside you when the noise is going on.
And well, this time of the day, it's supposed to be 33 degrees here later on today. This time of the morning, the grandstand's very pleasant. It's in the shade, but later on, it'll be in full sun, and people gradually, there we have it, people gradually retreat back up in towards the trees. So it's only 12th place for Lea Novak of Slovenia, but I think the Slovenians can be confident of a final in Hočevar. So Victoria Us now for Ukraine on course. Bronze medalist yesterday in the kayak event. Now very capable of getting on the podium again today, but the first job is to get into the final. A little bit sticky running into gate 1, but she looks like she's found the rhythm coming through this next section.
Definitely, she picked up the time on that 2 to 3 and those staggers. She looked fast. She's still a little bit behind on the split, I think, from that first whole move. But she's always a very composed paddler, and I think she can pull it together to still make a good run for finals.
She was 7th in Tokyo last season, and of course the result of Lea Novak does mean that the race leader Elena Lilik of Germany is our first confirmed finalist. The world champion of 2021 is through to the final. Well done, Elena. 1.53 down on the first split, and now she's trimmed it to 0.42. So Victoria Us, one to watch as she comes down the final few gates of the course. There's a review going on gate 9, but there is no penalty showing at the moment. But it looks like there might be one on gate 19, and that is confirmed. So Victoria Us may well have just made it slightly harder for herself to qualify through into the final. But it's a quick time, 104.92 into 4th place for Victoria Us of the Ukraine. But that does mean that Slovenia have a finalist in this women's canoe. And that is Eva Alina Hočevar joins Elena Lilik of Germany in the final. 8 boats to go. And the third Slovenian on course, Alja Kozarok of Slovenia now. Again, not quite nailing the drop, dropping low into gate 1.
Yeah.
It's probably fair to say, actually, we all assume that the Slovenians, well, they live and train here, but they don't. They don't all. You know, Slovenia's got a number of strong canoe clubs, and
definitely
they're not all based here in Tarsen, and actually the water availability in Tarsen isn't always that good.
Yeah, and even though you've run something many times, I think for sure it gives you an advantage, but it also gives you a little bit more to know that you can do it really well. Sometimes it can get on your nerves. So no wonder that water is really strong.
So Alja Kozarok now with a deficit of nearly 5 seconds on the top section. She needs to keep it calm, stick to the plan, and deliver the bottom section, because if you can deliver the bottom and this middle section, then you can pull yourself right back into the mix.
Definitely, I think this bottom section it's key.
So at the moment, Avi Liebfarth of the United States and America sitting in 3rd place, waiting to see if she's done enough. She's the next on the bubble, so to speak. And a penalty. Oh no, that wasn't a penalty, that was gate 12, wasn't it? I'm not taking my own advice there, am I? The fact that you're allowed to hit gate 12 after doing gate 13. So Kozarok of Slovenia, 5.42. Well, that's looking at the moment from around about 5th place. So it's not out of the question to make it into the final, but it's one of those nervous weights.
Definitely. I think this last upstream gate will determine, but maybe a little slow.
So Alja Kozarok will stop the clock, 1:11.93. The time slipped away at the end, and 12th place and no final. But Slovenia will have a place in the final. There is Peter Kauser there in the grandstand supporting his team. I think he finished 4th yesterday in the competition. And so it is Lilik Hocevar and now Liebfarth, our qualifiers. 7 to go in this women's canoe semi-final. And on course, we have for France, Angèle Hug. So a fluid style as you'd expect from the French, and in touch, just 8/100ths down, but just horrible in that upstream.
Yeah, it's easy to lose your bow a little bit, and those boils are tricky for sure.
As soon as you lose the boat speed, if you become stationary in that eddy, you are basically a passenger, aren't you?
Yeah, that's a good word for it. You'll be a passenger of the water.
So out of the upstream gate 10, clean so far, so it's still very much in the mix, but I suspect the split time will show a deficit compared to race leader Elena Lilik, the world champion for Germany.
Yeah, still a solid run. She still looks very composed, very safe on her moves.
Yeah, very smooth.
Yeah, very smooth.
1.6 now, the deficit, so it's still very much a, well, it could challenge for the automatic qualification time. 1:04.92 is the time to beat for automatic qualification. That's held by Victoria Urs of Ukraine. And Angèle Hug of France is very much going to get close to that. I think she's going to get inside that, into second place, deceptively fast.
Wow, yeah, that's a good run.
Well, importantly, she's clean, isn't she?
Yeah.
So, good performance there, and well done, because that is good enough for the final. Victoria Urs of Ukraine will just have to wait a little bit longer to see if she's done enough as we watch. Emanuela Luknarova of Slovakia now coming over the drop and tight into gate 1. Just over that wave, the bows of the boat flick up and she takes a penalty.
Very nice serve from 2 to 3.
Very nice, yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
very
It was,
good.
that's the confident line, isn't it? Because you can drop off the back, and it was definitely rewarded there. And half a second down on Lilik of Germany.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to stay on top of the hole without going in it or out of it. So it's a tricky move, but if you're able to pull it together, it can be very fast.
Well, it definitely looks like that touch on the first gate has not unsettled her. It's not phased her at all. She's very much in charge here. A little bit deep on the pivot, but she's really carrying the boat speed and will be tight into 13.
Oh, very nice over here.
Will she turn that deficit into a credit as she comes through into the second split? Well, it's grown a little bit, but she's still in touch with her place in the final. Just seeing Peter Kauser in the grandstand watching the action, it was interesting to see the fact that he had to settle for 4th place. Preskovic took the win here on his home water. It was the other way round in Prague. Was the fact that Peter Kauser stole the thunder. He took the win on Yuri Preskovic's home water, and Yuri had to settle for 4th place. So a little bit of amusement there. Well, into 3rd place. Well done, Emanuela Luknarova of Slovakia. You are into the final. Just that 2-second penalty on gate 1 of all gates. But it is Lilik leading for Germany, Hug of France in 2nd place, and then Luknarova now for Slovakia, joined by Hocevar and Liebfarth in the final. 5 boats to go, and here is a consistent boat and leader of the World Cup standings after the first 2 World Cup races of the season. Martina Satkova of the Czech Republic, and wow, drama, she is out of the final.
Yeah, that was, she got pushed down and couldn't make it back up on that eddy.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. I saw that she'd got rejected. I thought she was just going to be low into the upstream gate 1, but she never managed to get the boat moving towards the eddy.
Definitely, it's tricky water, it's hard white water, and a little bit of line, you can get pushed completely to the other side.
Well, that's sensational because she has been super consistent. A bronze medal in Prague, a bronze medal last weekend in Krakow, leading the World Cup standings, but she won't be now when she leaves here because she won't make it through into the final. And that leaves the door open for, well, some of the big names at the moment, like Jessica Fox, only sitting 7th in the standings so far. But I think the opportunity to change all that going into the World Championships. So Martina Satkova, it's not going her way today. And another 50-second penalty picked up on a half a head on the downstream gate 8. But that is going to be good news for Victoria Urs of Ukraine, who was in the final, in fact on the podium yesterday in the kayak event. Victoria now goes into the final in the canoe event.
Definitely good news for her.
So Martina Satkova stops the clock in 25th place, 2:53.07. And just that one mistake and a harsh penalty, but that is the nature of our sport, and that's what attracts people to it. It is
you never know.
It is the challenge. It's you against nature, the physical, the mental, and the technical skills. And yeah, it's
definitely. I think it's such a unique sport. It makes us very, very special, and it's awesome to be able to see that.
Of course, now for Spain, Clara Olazabal. So she was 5th at the World Championships in 2019. 10 World Cup finals to her name. And certainly setting off like she wants to make it 11.
Yeah, definitely.
Very fluid.
Very composed, yeah, very good. This first section of the course has been very fast.
So up on Lilik of Germany. At the moment, it is now Anna Satila sitting in 7th place, waiting to see if she will qualify through into the final for Brazil.
She's looking very good until here. We're coming to this tricky part, but I think she can keep it together. She can have a really good run, Clara.
She does look so smooth and in control. She's gone a bit deep in 13, but avoided the touch. She has picked up the touch on gate 12. So it's still in touch though, 0.32, so very much in touch replacing the final.
Yeah.
And still in touch for challenging the race lead.
Yeah, very smooth on those staggers with a spin, but she kept them both moving downstream, so I think it can still be a really good fast run.
Yeah, and she's fast at the bottom. She looks like she's got the pace still. She's certainly got the energy in the arms. The time to beat for automatic qualification, 106.6. She's well inside that, and she's going to be into 3rd place. Clara Olazabal, well done. You are in the final for Spain. Look at that.
Yeah,
that
was a
sense of relief on her face.
Definitely a very good run for her. It's definitely exciting to watch her on the final.
So Anna Satila has to wait again to see if she's done enough. 3 boats to go. And on course now, Mallory Franklin of Great Britain, the Olympic silver medalist from Tokyo, and rejected at the top, but she manages to get it back. And that was where Martina Satkova from the Czech Republic, the World Cup leader after 2 races, struggled.
Yes, I think Mallory, she's very fast on this course. We saw it yesterday in K1, so I think she's definitely a big name, and if she keeps this flow going downstream, we'll have her on the final. So
she was on the podium yesterday in the K1, and she was on the top step of the podium in this canoe event last weekend in Krakow, 10th in the Prague World Cup race. So 2 finals from the 2 World Cup races so far, and she is up on the first split. Now this is the critical section, just not taking too many risks and keeping the boat flat there, because it is so easy if you put the tail down to go deep on 13.
Yes, and get pushed and acquire a penalty. But it looks like she's keeping very flat the boat here, keeping moving.
3 seconds up, that's a good margin now.
Very good run for her.
Now she's got to just get the line here, keep the boat running through 19-20. 1 more gate to go, the upstream gate 21. And the time to beat, 106.60. She's going to be comfortably inside that time. I think she has lost a bit of time at the bottom section, but it is the fastest raw time, 99.09. Mallory Franklin of Great Britain goes into the race lead ahead of Elena Lilik of Germany, Angèle Hug of France in 3rd place. There is an asterisk by Mallory's name, so it's still a provisional result, but at the moment it is into the final. 2 to go. Kimberly Woods for Great Britain next, and Anna Satila still waiting for Brazil to see if she's done enough. Now sitting in 9th place.
Yeah, We will see.
Kimberly Woods, a 3-time World Cup winner, 2-time European champion. And great line there, 2 to 3.
That was very good line.
So she went to the Tokyo Games in the kayak. Didn't focus on the canoe so much last season because of that, but she is up on Franklin's time, the race leader, by 0.34. Just having a little bit of a swirl around on gate 7.
Yeah, a little low on gate 7, but I think she still kept the boat moving, so I don't think she lost much time.
Well, Mallory Franklin now a confirmed result, no penalties added, so 99.09, the race leader, and into the final. And Kimberly Woods now pivoting around through gate 12, now into 13. Very nice, very tight on that move. She's a little bit down on Franklin's time, but 2.5 seconds. Well, that's still good enough to take second place, and the job here for Kimberly is to make sure she's through to the final.
I think she's still a very good run, so very fast, very composed. She's kept it clean, so I think it's a good run.
She made the final in Prague. She was 6th in Prague, then 24th last weekend in Krakow. So she'll be wanting, as she goes in towards the World Championships, to get a strong performance here. And into 3rd place, Kimberly Woods for Great Britain goes into the final. So great news there. And well, look, I think that's a look of relief on her face there. So 1 boat to go. Jessica Fox of Australia, the Olympic champion, goes for a place in the final. She hasn't been so consistent in the canoe event this season yet. She's lying 7th in the standings and has yet to be on the podium in the World Cup Series. In the kayak, it's completely the opposite. She has dominated, 3 wins from 3.
Yeah, but in these first gates, she looked very, very good. Kept the boat gliding and very fast on those surfing the hole.
Well, she's in touch with the top split. Effectively, though, it's the semi-final, so it's all about getting into the final, and it's a battle between Ana Satila of Brazil, sitting in 10th place at the moment with a time of 106.6, and the Olympic champion, multiple World Cup and World champion, Jessica Fox on course. She does look so smooth.
Yeah, she's looking very smooth.
Oh, what? That didn't look like a plan A, did it?
No, definitely not. I think the water pushed her a little bit off the gate, but she had to go back for it.
But I think the time loss will be significant, but not enough to, at the moment, rule her out of the place in the final. This has put the race on between Ana Satila and Jessica Fox, because now Fox needs to find some magic at the bottom, and she can still get in the final.
Yeah, I think she's still pretty fast here, so if she can put together in this last section, we've seen you can lose a lot of time on this upstream, so we will see. She
was very close to 19, and that has now been confirmed as a touch. Fox is up against it here. The time for qualification, 106.60, and she is just inside. And wow, what a relief for Jessica Fox of Australia. Well, she did it the hard way.
Yes, definitely.
Look at that. The Olympic champion shows her style. She has a paddle back and a penalty, but she still makes it through into the final.
Quite amazing to see. I think you could see the moment she had to go back for that gate, she pushed really hard on those last gates. She knew she had to pick up the time, and she knew what she had to do. I think that's really cool to watch when the experienced paddlers go down the course. They know how to adapt, and they know that when they have to push and how to adapt to their new plan.
Look at that, and there's her sister, Noemi. That's just taking it all in. Well, the Olympic champion, Jessica Fox, will go again in the final. What a scare there. She'll be first off in that final, and, well, that could set up a really exciting final. But it is Mallory Franklin who takes the win in the semi-final, ahead of Elena Lillich of Germany and Kimberly Woods of Great Britain. Those are the top 3. They'll go off the last 3 places in that final. Of course, the final, you can watch it here live at Planet Canoe, 11:30 Central European time, so just over 90 minutes time, we'll be live with that women's canoe final. And, well, actually, there were very few penalties in the final.
Yeah, very few penalties, actually. That was cool to watch.
So, well, the big names to miss out are Anna Satila misses out on the final again. Teresa Fisarova, who's been so good over the rounds, will have to settle for 12th place. And, well, in terms of other names, the Miran Lazcano, European champion for Spain, again missing out on the final here in Tarzen. So here are the results from the women's canoe semi-final here. We're live from Tarzen in Slovenia in the third World Cup race of the season. Mallory Franklin takes the win here in the semi-final. She'll go off last in the final for Great Britain. Elena Lilik, the world champion from Germany, is in that final too. And of course the Olympic champion Jessica Fox just sneaks in. She'll go off first. But here, some names to miss out. Anna Shatila, Teresa Fisarova in particular, missing out on the final. And also Miran Lazcano, European champion for Spain, missing out. But you can join us live with the women's canoe final, and that is at 11:30 Central European time today. It's certainly one to watch. But now we will turn our attention to the men's canoe semi-final. It's the same situation, 30 boats, the fastest 30 boats from the heats are racing it out in this 30-boat semi-final, and we're racing for just 10 places in the final. Here is our start list. The athletes racing in reverse order of their performance in those heats, and we've got the likes of the Olympic champion Benjamin Savcek of Slovenia, and well, a big crowd started to gather here ready for his racing. But we've also got the likes of well, Alexander Slavkovsky of Slovakia, Sidiris Tasiadis of Germany. It's a bit of a who's who. Nicolas Guessin of France, he's been a key player in the first two World Cups of the season, and this is going to be an exciting race. Adam Burgess of Great Britain, of course, bronze medalist last weekend in Krakow. Well, I'd like to welcome to the booth Jean-Pierre Bourri of Senegal, two-time Olympian. Joins me, Andy Maddock, and we'll talk you through. Welcome, Jean-Pierre.
Yeah, thank you. Great to be here and to have the commentary. I would prefer to be in the semi-final, but you know, it's things that happen. So yeah, we will enjoy to watch this strong race with the best paddlers here in Tarzen.
Well, it is going to be an exciting race because there are only 10 places in the final, and there are a lot of good boats.
Yeah, there is a really strong, with Sidiris Tasiadis, who will start at the end, a really strong partner, and we will have to follow him also at the World Championship that will be held in Augsburg. And we start with Benjamin Kies from Germany, a really young paddler, only 19 and his first World Cup.
Well, we are underway. So this is the men's canoe semi-final. We're live from Tarzen, Slovenia. And here to get us underway, as you say, it is Benjamin Kies of Germany. And, well, anyone who gets into the German senior team, you can expect them to be able to deliver a pretty strong run to set an indication of the time to follow.
Yeah, it will be the first reference of the time, a little bit short for Benjamin, but he is still on the way to the course.
Well, nicely through gates 6 and 7. This is the really boily section, and the athletes will be quite relieved to get through there without any time loss, I think, as they come down the course.
Yeah, and for C1 it's quite tricky because you only have one left or right, and you have to do a course belt to do, and this boiling part we don't like so much. We prefer when it's more stable, but that's a game. Oh.
Well, that's an interesting line there. Almost Benjamin was too tight on 13, and you don't often see that. He did 11 and 12 very well indeed, and then took the penalty on 13. And well, we'll get an indication of time. But we've seen the women's canoe go just under 100 seconds. We saw the men's kayak go down to just under 80 seconds yesterday. I would be suggesting we'd be in the late 80s in this event. Any thoughts on the winning time?
Yes. Probably between 90 and 88, let's say.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. So Benjamin Keys stops the clock for Germany and sets the time 93.98, but that does include a 2-second penalty on the upstream gate 13. So if you have just joined us here live at Planet Canoe, then just a reminder, we have low water levels here in Tarsen, Slovenia. So we're not using the whole course because it's a bit rocky at the bottom. And as a result, there are 8 upstream gates, and we stop a little bit shorter than normal. So a very physical course.
Yeah, physical, and the design have to be short, so really tricky part in everywhere. So the upstream have to follow, and all these gates. So yeah, quite tricky course for Tatsan, because we are used to have a long and with a big line on this course.
Well, on course it is Tristan Carter of Australia, and he is up on our first paddler for Germany. So Tristan Carter is setting the pace, the Oceania champion of 2022, and now coming into the upstream gate 10.
So far so good, a clean run, so he chooses to make a swipe and then direct and upstream on the 13. Oh, I think there was a lot of mistake at the gate 13, like the water is pushing you on the rock almost at the exterior pole, so you need to really take care on these gates, especially on the left side, because you have to do a cross bell and hold strongly the paddle.
Well, you're right, yeah, you're absolutely right, and as soon as you stick your tail down, which is so tempting, particularly in the canoe events, then you increase the risk of being pushed sideways in that gate 13.
Yeah, so the control of this gate will be really important, not to relieve the paddle, but just hold and keep the paddle on the water.
So Tristan Carter of Australia, it was good at the top, but 2 touches, 4 seconds of penalties, and a little bit of time loss in the bottom section, and it is only second place for now. Remember, 30 boats in this men's canoe semi-final, and just 10 places up for grabs in the final, as we watch Jake Corcoran of Ireland setting off on his quest for a place in the final. Already he has a final place in Prague, 10th place he finished there. Then he was 49th last weekend in Krakow. He'd have been disappointed with that. And now can he come back fighting back into the final here? Remember, we're a month away from the World Championships, and this is the last big senior competition. So good to get some momentum going into the Worlds.
Yeah, I think it's the time to test, to adjust also on the warm-up, the procedure of the race, and then you will have to adjust again after the World Cup series to be ready for the World Championship. But it was quite interesting to have 3 World Cups, so you can set all your strategy about the race.
Yes, I mean, that's true, isn't it, Jean-Pierre, in terms of the World Championships normally are in September. So this time they're in July, and that's mainly because Augsburg in Germany doesn't really have much water left by the time we get into September. It relies on a lot of the snow melt from the winter to supply the river. And it's ideal, coming off the back of a 3-week World Cup campaign, and then a month off. Not for everyone, because we've got the Junior and Under-23 World Championships in the middle. But then everyone comes back focused on the World Championships.
Yes, back in with Jake, I had a little bit of mistake on the gate. It will be hard. It will be hard to get to the 10th spot. He make the mistake on the second upstream on the right, and at the end on the down gate. So yeah, so sorry for Jake. It will be not. I think in final it will be hard.
Yeah, it's interesting. Of the 3 competitors going down, then you've seen huge amounts of time changing hands. Like Jake was up on Benjamin Kies of Germany, our race leader on the second split, but lost time at the bottom. So there's still a huge amount of time to be had. And well, here is a paddler who could find it. Ondřej Berčič of Slovenia. And well, he'll be very familiar with not only racing at this kind of high level on this course, but also just the experience of paddling on this boiling, quite unique water.
Yeah, they know really well Slovenia to paddle here. They are always impressive. Two seconds up from Benjamin Kies, who had a quite good run, quite strong one. But yeah, they know how to use the water, how to push hard here. So we will follow with really close.
So 3 Slovenians racing in this 30-boat semi-final in the men's canoe, and Ondřej Berčič is really showing us just how good he is and just how calm and composed he can be.
Yeah, really impressive on this up on the right. He was holding the paddle and he was really on a good line. 4.5 seconds up now. Sensational
stuff here, and he's certainly lighting up the crowd as well. We've already got a finalist in the women's canoe category. Eva-Elena Hočevar goes for Slovenia. That'll be at 11:30 today's Central European time. But now coming down to the finish, Berčič is going to smash the race lead time, 89.64. And well, that is the benchmark for everyone to chase.
Yeah, that's a strong run, and I will not advance so quick, but it could be a final. It could be a final time. And to be ranked in the top 10.
I would agree. I think it is going to be around about the final zone, and now we have a benchmark that everyone else can chase. Well, here's an athlete who has won a World Cup here. Roberto Colazingardi of Italy goes down on this semi-final run. He won in 2019 on this course. In fact, at that World Cup, the Italian team took 3 out of the 4 gold medals.
Yeah, they are also know well, and they are quite strong, and I think it's this type of water that they like, a little bit like Indria, with a bit of natural movement, boiling water, and water going everywhere, and they are used to, and I think it's the type of water they like.
You're right, and also the Italian border's not that far away from here, so quite used to coming over and competing in some of the internationals that take place here on this course. And Roberto, well, he was in touch, 1.31 down on the split, the top section, but he looks like he's still holding close to Berčič's time.
Yeah, he had a good line, the boat always going forward, no stopping moment, like here on the upstream right. Allez, come on, Roberto.
Well, he's a bit squeezed, got his crossbow there, wasn't he, on 13? He almost could have done with switching.
Yeah, but I know that there was a lot of people that don't like to switch. It's always the big topic about switching or not.
Well, he's closed the deficit, 0.56 now, so he is on a really good run. Importantly, no penalties showing. Now just 1 gate to go, the final upstream, gate 21. And Roberto Colazingardi of Italy is looking like he's going to challenge the race lead time. It's slightly outside, but into second place. So he dropped a bit of time at the bottom, but a good performance. And, well, those 2 runs are setting the kind of pace that you need to be to challenge the top 10.
Yeah, interesting run from Roberto also, really close. I think he lost a little bit of time on the middle part, because he tried to succeed on gaining a bit of time at the end.
Well, next up for the People's Republic of China is Zhisheng Zhang on course now. Now this run into gate 1. So, Jean-Pierre, tell me, how exciting is it when you come here? You're tucked up the top, you don't really feel the atmosphere of the race when you set off on the start. You go over the drop, and how much of a buzz is it if you really nail that first move?
I think it's all, I mean, all the race are starting at the drop, because it set the course that you will done. So having a good first drop, it's so important, and it gives you the speed, and especially here for the first gate, up left, and then you're good mood to go along the course.
And on this short course, because we're shortened down, you know, it's a winning time of under 90 seconds. We know that. Then the margins for any mistakes or penalties are just well, it compounds it so much more that you can't afford any real mistakes, can you?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like he was a little bit odd with the touch at the gate number 7, and yeah, he lost time. But doing the spin, the hole catch him a little bit. So
Yeah, it's unfortunate, isn't it? You can, on here, on this course, you can appear to do nothing particularly wrong, but suddenly the time slips away, particularly in that middle section.
yeah, and I think it's all the small wave and the current. Like if you're not following perfectly and clearly and are a little bit out of the line, you lost a lot of time.
So Shang of the People's Republic of China goes into 6th place. Total time of 100.83. That includes a 2-second penalty on the upstream gate 7. And well, it is still Andrzej Bercic leading for Slovenia ahead of Roberto Colazingali of Italy and Benjamin Kies of Germany. So on course now, it is Adam Kral of the Czech Republic, Junior World Championship bronze medalist in 2021. Now competing in his first Senior World Cup race here.
Yeah, the next generation of the Czech C1 paddler, really strong paddler. We will see some Czech paddler like Lukáš Ron will be start a little bit after. And it's still on course, yeah, 0.5 second down, still in contact, good.
So looks very tall athlete, sits very high in his boat, a bit like Benuš of Slovakia.
Yeah, he looked really high in his boat, and it can be a good advantage. So you can a little bit short, and yes, still good.
So there he came tight out of the upstream gate 10 and nearly paid the price, as you say, Jean-Pierre, but he did manage to keep it clean. And now on the split time, though, the time will show he has lost a bit of time. 3.5 seconds nearly the deficit over race leader Andrzej Bercic of Slovenia.
Yeah, Andrzej Bercic really set a time for the final and for the race. So try to be close, try to be as close as possible to his time.
He's got a very Stanislav Jezek kind of style about him, hasn't he, Adam Kral, as he comes down towards the finish line here. He seems to be able to just wiggle around the gates, and he has kept off the poles, he's kept it clean, but into 3rd place, 95.19, and it is still Andrzej Bercic leading for Slovenia ahead of Roberto Colazingali of Italy. And then quite a big gap for Adam Kral for the Czech Republic in 3rd.
A little bit less power at the end. We saw that the stroke was less strong, and I think like you need to push until the end quite hard. So yes.
So Zach Locken of the United States of America, better known as Bug, 7th from the Tokyo Olympic Games last year, and well, it's a good start for him.
Yeah, pretty good start from USA, Zachary Locken, and he will also race in Extreme this afternoon. There is few paddlers in C1 that also double with Extreme, but it's always the fun things to do.
Well, it's really exciting as well, isn't it? Because in terms of at the games, if you're going to the games, then the logical thing is you would be competing in the Extreme as well.
Yes, that's why I think it's a good strategy to also start to do Extreme, even if it's hard in C1 to switch in K1. But we have to be used to. And speaking with Zachary, he was saying like we start to be better and better and quite quickly. So just pushing.
Well, we are looking at a virtual race leader, Zach Locken, on a good run here. He has turned a half a second deficit into an advantage of nearly 1/10 of a second. So it's a good run here. Now, just a little bit squeezed on 19. That water can be really, really hard and solid, can't it, on the bottom? You feel like you're paddling uphill.
Yeah. Allez, come on, Zachary, you can do it. I lost a little bit of time at the last part. We saw that the boat was not on the line and going fast. So.
Well, it's a good run, but yeah, you're right. It absolutely demonstrates that, well, first of all, you've got to deliver all the sections to take the race win, but also just how easy it is to have a bad section and the time slips away. But into 3rd place for Zach Locken of the United States. as we watch the Olympic champion from Rio 26, the reigning World Cup champion, Denis Gargaud-Canoe of France, sets off for his place in the final.
Yeah, it was quite a surprise to see him on the second run in qualification. He got a 50-second penalty on the first one, so it's always a bit stressful to pass through the second hit, but he did it quite well, and we will follow him closely. Yeah.
So he's 28th in Prague, he's 6th last weekend in Krakow, and he is up on the race leader Berčić of Slovenia on the early part of the course.
A very great style on the middle of the gate, and you have really strong stroke. So for him, it's just be on the gate and just push hard.
It's interesting, he's not done that much switching on this sequence of gates, where he's actually a bit the pioneer of switching, certainly in more modern switching. But look at that, he's found 3 seconds up on race leader Berčić of Slovenia, and he wasn't slow.
No, he's really quick, so now we need to push him until the end, and we will see if it will be enough, but I'm probably sure that it will be enough for the final.
And he looks very fluid on the bottom section as well. 19:20 was good for him. So Denis Gargaud-Canoe of France is going to go into the race lead by quite some margin. Look at that, 86.24, and surely that's in the final.
Impressive run of Denis Gargaud-Canoe, and maybe switching is not the best idea.
Well, in fact, if you join us on the finals show, which starts at 11:30 Central European time today here at Planet Canoe, then we've got a little feature with Denis, who talks us through switching, because he is a bit of the person. He's been doing it since about 2010, something like that, when he started exploring that. But let's look at Lukáš Rohan of the Czech Republic again, another paddler who had to go twice in the heats because he didn't quite nail it on the first run. He's the Olympic silver medalist from Tokyo, and he's on course, but the time's starting to come down now.
Yeah.
86.24 for the benchmark set by the Rio Olympic champion Denis Gargaud-Canoe, the World Cup champion of last season. And Lukáš Rohan, well, you'd expect him to be able to challenge that time.
He's in contact, but Denis was quite fast at the end, so we will have to. He will have to go fast and be on the middle and push hard.
Well, that's a good sequence through 7, 8, 9. Now this is the business end. This is where it's make or break. You can, and it looks like it's break here, a touch and a time loss in the middle.
Yeah. I think it will be hard to try to be on the top 10. Yeah, for now it's a bit over. The review.
2 touches shown in that middle section, and actually picks up a touch on gate 14 as well. So yes, you're right. I can't see a way back. Unfortunately, Lukáš started off the season in 3rd place on the podium in Prague in his home water, then 18th last weekend, and it's looking unlikely that he's going to make it through into the final today.
It's so hard when you have when you get a touch to be back on the course, and especially in C1, that you know that all paddlers will be really strong and have no penalties. Mandatory. It's mandatory. Otherwise, you are out of the final of the semi. So clean run, especially in C1, it's so important.
And interestingly enough, the top 5 are clean at the moment, so you're absolutely right. And well, there's the first big shock today. Lukáš Rohan for the Czech Republic will not be progressing through into the final. Paolo Cecco now of Italy sets off on his semi-final run. 10 boats down, 20 boats still to go down in this men's canoe semi-final, and of course they're the fastest from the heats.
Oh, a little bit hard from gate 2 to 3. He didn't catch well the wave and push. Because here it's a area that if you are well on the line, you have to do nothing. You can just let the paddle on the top and.
No, it's really true, isn't it? When a lot of events, then sometimes the people who are looking like they're really not trying are actually the fastest on the course. Not always the case, but some people, when they get it right, just make it look effortless.
Yeah, you need to use as much as possible the water to gain a bit of power and save a bit of power, but also because the water push you, it's natural, it's free, so try to use as much as possible.
Well, Paolo Cecon of Italy, a little bit down on the split, but don't forget that's on that outstanding time of Denis Gargaud-Chanou, the race leader for France. And, well, I thought Paolo in gate 12 to 13 did extremely well rescuing it from the position he was in. And he's kept it clean, another clean run coming together, and it's good enough to challenge for third place. So Italy lying in third and fourth at the moment, but still at the top of the leaderboard. Denis Gargaud-Chanou of France with that time, 86.24. There's Daniele Mormenti, the coach for Italy, who himself an Olympic champion from London 2012 and world champion on this course, if I remember rightly.
Yes, exactly. But Paolo, he was not far. The gate 13 was not really great in the end, but he had a good run otherwise, so he can be happy with it.
Well, the Slovenian crowd, many of them have come to see this man, Benjamin Savcek of Slovenia, the Olympic champion from Tokyo. He's a world champion, multiple European champion, including this year, and he's won the World Cup on a couple of occasions, so hugely consistent paddler. And now has to just deliver on this semi-final run, and he's up already.
Yes, already up. He was quite impressive on the gate 2-3 that we were talking about, like just taking the wave and the line in super fast. He know how to manage this course, definitely.
Now coming into the upstream gate 10, this is the critical move. Through 11, takes it on forwards, really nice on the pivot, and he's tight into 13, but he goes deep and he manages to stay off the pole.
Yeah, it was quite short and tight, but I think it's still clean and still up, 0.3 seconds up.
So he's taking the fight to Gargaud-Chanou as he comes into the upstream gate 18, but we know Chanou was very fast at the bottom of the course.
But he know to manage the last line, taking the right and the good wave. We'll see if we push. No, it's inside and cross belt and finishing.
86.24, the time to beat, and into the race lead, Benjamin Savcek of Slovenia. Well, that's popular with the crowd here in Tarzan. And Benjamin Savcek goes ahead of Denis Gargaud-Chanou of France, then Ondřej Berčič of Slovenia in third place. So I think it's starting to emerge that you might well need to go in or around, well, certainly under 91 seconds, I think, to make it into the final.
Yes, definitely. The 19 will be the cut. We still have strong partners coming. Marco, the Slovak, Cirevri Stasiadis. So yeah, it's still not finished. And
yes, well, we are only 12 boats down, so you're right, 18 boats still to go. And on course now, Gregor Hedvig for Poland, 14th in Tokyo. He's got a good record here. 4 World Cup finals here in Tarzan, so you'd expect him to perform well.
Quite impressive, yeah, for sure. He loved this course, and it's on this style to have the natural water, and yeah, he's really great.
He's had a slow start to the World Cup season so far, only 22nd and then 13th, so not making a final yet this season. But great opportunity to get back on track ahead of the World Championships in Germany. But drama, he's missed it. Now he can go back for it, but that will have cost him maybe 2 or 3 seconds. And that penalty now, it goes from being in contention to being really up against it.
Yeah, the move completely kicked out him about the race and the line, and after being back, 10 seconds, like now it will be over, but still, continue, push, Gregor, go until the end.
Which he's absolutely doing now as he comes across into the last upstream gate, gate 21, but another touch there, and Gregor Hedvig of Poland is going to make it outside of the final and sits in 9th for now, 99.36. Still Savcek, the Olympic champion, sitting at the top of the leaderboard as we approach the halfway stage of this men's canoe semi-final.
And on the start, Liam Jegu from Ireland.
So Liam made a final in Prague. He was 8th in the final there. He was 17th last weekend in Krakow. And now goes down the course and really good run into one. Carries great boat speed on the exit.
Strong paddler also. It's quite regular. I mean, making all the semi-final for the Free World Cup, which is quite great. And still have to push to go on the final and start to have the medal. Allez, come on, Liam.
Of course, he won the Po World Cup race in 2020, 15th at last year's Tokyo Olympics, and looks really smooth through 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, he's on a good line. He got the speed. Oh no, come on.
Well, what a recovery there. He really got rejected, didn't he, running into 10, but he does rescue it.
Yeah, he's still on track. It's not finished yet. You need to continue and push, and all will be played at the last section.
So now coming down through gate 15. Got to keep the boat speed through this downstream 16 in the eddy. He does that nicely, but 4.63 down. That's more of a reflection of just how good Savsek and Gargo-Chanou were.
Yes, it could be on the top 5. I don't know if it will be enough for the final. You still have to push well. Allez, come on, Liam. Until the end, you have to fight, you have to go, and
into 6th place for Liam Jegu of Ireland, and the time slips away at the bottom. It's interesting, isn't it? Yes, he lost a bit of time in the middle, but he continued to lose time on that bottom section.
Yeah, but he had a good start at the top section, and unfortunately on the middle we saw before 12, 13 that it was more complicated to conserve the speed of the boat and be on a good line.
Next on course, it is Jules Bernardet of France setting off. He's a silver medalist from last year's Under-23 World Championships. That was on this course, so he'll have good memories of that.
Of course, having a medal or making a final, it's always a good spirit when you come back on this kind of race and course. So you start with a positive thinking, a positive mind, which is important and good, and hopefully, have to succeed again.
Well, 3.5 seconds down on the top split, and he's done nothing wrong. And it's just a reflection, really, of the fact we got the Olympic champion leading the way at the moment is a good indication. But Jules still has the opportunity to pull that back. And did he just take the penalty on gate 12? That is showing now a touch. Now we get an indication on the second split, 5.5 seconds. So interestingly enough, he has stopped the deficit really, because 3.5 seconds on the top section, then he's had a 2-second penalty, so he has found some rhythm in the middle.
Yeah, but unfortunately with a 2-second penalty and be 5 seconds down will be hard, but quite a great last upstream, and we will follow his time.
Well, whips it round 90.08, and well, I think underneath that there are some fast sections, isn't there? But it is only 5th place for now. So 88.08 the raw time, and the only paddler in the top 9 with a penalty. So some really positive information to come out of that run, but at this stage unlikely to make the final. Savsek still leading for Slovenia ahead of Gargo-Chanou of France, and then Berčič of Slovenia. Luis Fernandez now goes for Spain, and we're halfway through now in this men's canoe semi-final. So 15 boats to go, and it won't be long before we start to confirm who our finalists are. Jean-Pierre Bourri for the Senegal team alongside me, 2-time Olympian, and myself, Andy Maddock, as the racing starts to tighten up, but there are 2 early touches, no, 1 early touch on gate 4.
Yeah, otherwise it was quite great, have a good speed on the first upstream. The drop was also really great, no speed, a lot of speed, and not being stuck on the hole. So it will continue, but quite a good start. Instead of just the 2-second penalty on the gate 4, but now it's like okay. We will see the judgment, what they will decide, but still.
There's a good recovery there because it was in all sorts of problems on 11. The time has slipped away that you'd expect from that mistake 11-12, but at least no more penalties to add to the one picked up on gate 4.
Yeah, a little bit stuck in the gate 18 for Luis Fernandez. Allez, come on, Luis, we need to go until the end.
Here he comes into the upstream gate 21, and he goes for the punt, but hits the pole as he goes for the punt, and that's one of those things. He'll think about that for a while, and settles for 11th place. So no final for Luis Fernandez of Spain. So we're starting to get 14 boats to go. We're getting towards confirming our finalists, and surely Benjamin Savsek and Denis Gargo-Chanou are looking like, well, I think they could already be preparing for the final. They don't need to worry.
No, yeah, for sure. They are set in final and need to prepare for the next step. For sure will be not a problem for these sports partners.
So now on course, Matija Marinic of Croatia sets off, and a really good line into the first upstream gate. Was Tokyo Olympian, finished 11th last year, and 17th at the World Championships in Bratislava, Slovakia.
Not a great start. Between the 2 and 3 was stuck a little bit on the wave instead of just gliding and going fast. So yeah, we'll see 3.47 seconds down. So quite a hard start for Marinic, Martin.
So now coming in towards gate 10. So we're here at the swirly waters of Tartu, Slovenia, and obviously the World Championships in Augsburg. Similar kind of reputation for needing to spot the water. How good or not is the preparation here for those World Championships?
It changed quite a lot. Instead of having artificial course, all the movement are quite regular. Like if you go in Krakow or in Paris or I don't know, another artificial course, they look a little bit the same. The movements, the wave, the hole, and the current. Going on a natural, you have the surprise of the natural water, the moving water everywhere, and you have to use it to compose with it. So it's quite a different style of paddling.
Yeah, it's interesting. It favours the people who are really able to spot it, react to it, and predict it. But it looks like only 10th place for Matija Marinic of Croatia, 95.44. It is a clean run, but still Savsek leads for Slovenia, ahead of Gargo-Chanou of France, and then Berčić of Slovenia. 13 boats to go in this men's canoe semi-final, and now on course it is Leonard Tuscherer of Germany.
23 years old, also a young paddlers. I think he's good. He's good on the team with Sideris. There is not the other German paddler here.
Franz Anton,
yeah.
Is obviously staying at home, preparing for the World Championships.
Yeah, I think it's a big goal for the German guy to perform in Augsburg.
So we'll look forward to that. You can follow the World Championships live at Planet Canoe, 26th to the 31st of July. So it's actually a month today. The racing starts in those World Championships. 50 years since the 1972 Olympic Games, where canoe slalom made its debut. And, well, Leonard Tuscherer was in touch on the top split. He's still in touch if you're considering that 2-second penalty.
Quite impressive, yeah. He's still in touch with the 2-second penalty. He made really a good start. And we'll see. Might be enough for a final and to set on the top 3-5 for now.
Well, it's all about this bottom section, really. It looks like he's still got the run of the boat. Now he's just got to dig deep, break through the lactic acid in the arms. He's outside the race lead time, but into 3rd place, and a great run there for Leonard Tuscherer of Germany. And he displaces Ondřej Berčić out of the top 3. So he'll have not too long to wait before he finds out whether he's got a place in the final. Savsek leads for Slovenia, 85.18 with 12 boats to go. And here's a form boat from the last season, Marko Mirkorodski of Slovakia. He led the World Cup all the way through the season until the last race, and unfortunately he got deposed in the end. Johnny Canoe performed under pressure and took the overall World Cup title. But Mirkorodski, very capable of a strong performance today. First job though, get into the final.
Yeah.
Super smooth, always makes it look effortless. He's got quite a long stroke, very tall paddler, and that stroke rate, don't be deceived, he's quick.
Yeah, 0.8, it's in contact with the time. You have a really great style, smooth. He put every stroke on a good place, so really efficient. As you want to follow, definitely from Slovakia.
So he was 7th in Prague, made the final there, 23rd last weekend. The two-time junior world champion, under 23 world champion on one occasion as well. So very decorated paddler already, and looks very smooth in the middle section. Has lost a bit of time, but he's putting himself in the mix for a place in the final.
Yeah, he tried to be between 2 and 3, still have to continue, and at the end we will see on the last part how he take the speed of the wave, which is a great part.
Well, he's looking like he's still going to challenge for a top 3 place, which will challenge for a place in the final. He is going to stop the clock in, well, just outside, 4th place, 88.93, Marko Mirkorodski of Slovakia. And, well, he'll have a little bit of a wait to see whether that's enough, and it's right on the borderline. I think that'll be enough.
Yes, it will be maybe short. We have to wait and see, but it could be good. It could be good. But for Lennart, definitely 88 will be enough for him to be in the final.
Well, this is exciting. We're only into the semi-finals. Of course, the finals will follow the women's canoe final, 11:30 Central European time, which is just around 45 minutes away. But stay with us as we get into the sharp end of racing. We're nearly into the top 10 qualifiers, so we know who will qualify in. And on course now, it is Kaelan Bassett of Australia. Very, very smooth and fast into the upstream gate. He was silver medalist at the Oceania Championships in 2022, and well, already this is his best result in the World Cup season this year. So first time into the semi-final, and he's looking competitive for a well, maybe not in the final, but just outside.
Yeah, he had a hard start for the first World Cup, maybe not at his level, but here with 11th place on 8, it was quite a great performance for him. Now he need to do it again, of course. Doing once, it's fine, it can happen, but be regular and doing all the time the semi-final, final, and all, it's another it's another step, yeah, definitely.
Well, he's picked up a 2-second penalty on gate 10, and there is a review on gate 2 going on. No penalty showing at the moment, and equally on 14, but no penalty showing at the moment. Kaelan Bassett of Australia now through the bottom section, and looked like he had pretty good water through there, kept the boat speed.
Yes, but I will be not enough for today. Too many mistakes on the middle part.
And into 11th place, outside of the final, but Kaelan Bassett of Australia, certainly a season best so far, and a good performance going into the World Championships there. So total time 94.50, and that takes us into 10 boats to go in this men's canoe semi-final. So we will be able to confirm our finalists as we progress through the last few boats. But Benjamin Savsek, the Olympic champion for Slovenia, topping the leaderboard. And, well, there's guaranteed a Slovenian to be in the final, because Luka Bozic is on course now for Slovenia, the World Cup winner from Prague in the first race of the season. He then finished 11th just outside the final last weekend in Krakow, but you'd never rule him out. He's always in the mix.
Yeah, we will see a great performance. I hope so for Bozic. Well, a little bit mistake on the gate number 6.
Yeah, so a bit of a time loss and a penalty. So Bozic, a little bit of work to do as he comes into the middle section. You can hear the Slovenian crowd supporting his every move down the course.
You need to push hard. You need to push hard until the end. We will see on this top section. Oh, it's really hard on the crossbelt to be back on the gate 13.
He pivots on the bow of the boat there. He does that really well on his crossbow. 3.6 down. Well, that is around about third or fourth place at the moment. So he really needs to do some special stuff down the bottom.
But we know that they know well the end of the course. So sometimes we have surprised, like they are really fast and succeed on having the small time. And
he has found the time at the bottom. You're right, Jean-Pierre, and into third place. So that is critical. So first qualifier confirmed, the Olympic champion Benjamin Savcek of Slovenia is in the final, and it looks like, well, we've got at the moment first, third and sixth for Slovenia, so I'd be pretty confident of 2 Slovenian boats in the final.
Yes, I think you are right, and it will be good for the car, Bozic. Impressive at the end, using the good line and the water. It was fast.
Yeah, he kept his composure as well, used his experience. As we watch Jan Vetrovsky of the Czech Republic, who, well, this is his first World Cup of the season. He was a finalist at the Under-23 Worlds in 2019, but already a penalty on the first gate on the course.
Yes, not a great start. Oh, and unfortunately another mistake at the gate number 3.
So 2 touches already, and that puts the advantage to Denis Gargaud-Chanou of France, who sitting in second place. The Olympic champion from Rio looks to be joining the Olympic champion from Tokyo in the final. But it's not all over for Petrovsky of the Czech Republic, but it is all about now looking for where he's going to finish position. He may be outside the final, but remember, World Cup points up for grabs. 5 races in the World Cup season. This is race 3. Then we have a pause, and we come back at the end of August in Pau in France, and then double points World Cup final in La Seu d'Urgell in Spain.
7 seconds, yes, it will be hard to, of course, be on the top 10 with the 4-second penalty, and also at the start, it's not a great run. It's hard to continue and push when you know that at the top section you already done 2 mistakes.
Yes, particularly if you're a younger athlete, and perhaps that's where the experience comes in as well. But he's done well, he's kept it together. Jan Vetrovsky of the Czech Republic sitting in 12th place at the moment, so outside of the final, and that does mean that at the top of the leaderboard, and our 2 qualifiers so far are 2 Olympic champions. Savcek, the Olympic champion in Tokyo for Slovenia, and Gargaud-Chanou, the Olympic champion from Rio. They are our qualifiers. 8 boats to go, and well, some strong boats on this course. Mate Benuš now goes for Slovakia. Hasn't been able to produce the form that is so accustomed to, really, with him. But he is still capable of getting in onto the podium. He's got 17 World Cup medals to his name. But at the moment, a 9th and a 4th, so he has had 2 finals from 2 races.
Yeah, that's already great, and we see this season like there was a lot of switch in final, but being consistent like Benuš, like Nico Gestin, already done 2 final and trying to be at 3. It's quite strong. It's quite strong in C1.
So 3.18 down on the top section. So he hasn't found the groove yet. And now it is all about keeping his focus, though, and just delivering the plan. That won't help, though, because more time lost in the middle section. Just a bit sticky on the poles, but he is keeping it clean.
Yeah, a little bit stuck. I don't know if it will be enough to make. Yeah, he lost a little bit of time. We have a review at gate number 8. We will see the decision.
Yeah, he shrugged off gate number 8, didn't he? I think they're just checking. I don't think he hit it, but I think it'll be checking his whole head was inside the gate, and using a number of different camera angles to do that. So Benuš of Slovakia already outside of the lead time. Now he's got a sprint to finish, and this is going to be tight as to whether he's going to do enough. And into 7th place, he's left the door wide open, and I fear that'll be on the wrong side of the bubble.
Yeah, definitely. So Luka Bozic from Slovenia qualifying to the final.
Well, great stuff. And he, of course, Bozic was the winner from the first World Cup of the season. So 2 Slovenians in the final on their home water already. 3 boats qualified, 7 boats to go. And on course now, Adam Burgess of Great Britain, bronze medalist from last weekend in Krakow. Wow, graceful into the first upstream gate.
Yeah. Great start at the gate number 1. We will see here he has a good line. Yeah, he conserves the speed. That's important here.
He's certainly got a very fluid style, Adam. When he really finds the line, then he does make it look very effortless. But on this Tartan course, then it's far from effortless. The physical demands probably more than ever around this short 80-odd second course.
Yeah, really strong stroke, which is quite impressive and important here. He's on the line. I think he's focused to just remain on the line, and he was tight, but still clean.
He really had to drag it round on his crossbow there, but Burgess looking strong. He was in touch at the first split. He's still in touch. He's a little bit further away, but importantly, the job here is to make it through into the final. So now through 19, this is where he's got to really keep the run of the boat and dig deep into the physical reserves as he comes into the upstream 21. He's having to work harder than he would have liked in that move. But the automatic qualification time to beat, 88 is the time, and he's inside of that and into 3rd place. So provisionally, Adam Burgess is into the final.
Yes, he remained on the line from the top until the end. Stay focused, and it was good. It was good run from Adam Burgess.
So, well, still an asterisk showing us the video review just completes itself. So provisional time still, but Adam Burgess provisionally into the final in 3rd place for now, as we now watch the winner from last weekend, Nicolas Gestin of France, who was, well, he is leading the World Cup standings, 2nd after the first race, and then 1st in last weekend, and a little bit sticky into the first gate there.
Yeah, not a great start from Nico on the first drop. A little bit stuck, but we can be confident that he can still continue to push hard and try to reach the top 10.
He's had a great season, 4th last season at the at the World Championships at senior level in Bratislava, and a great start to this season, and is very fluid, very smooth, and has had great preparation as he comes towards the Augsburg World Championships next month. So 2.3 down on the top split. Well, that's still good enough for an automatic qualification time, and considering he lost that time in the first upstream, that's pretty good at the moment.
Yes, he missed a little bit of time for a second. I don't know if it would be enough, but he still have to continue to push. Allez, come on, Nico.
So he's having a review on gate 4. That's to see whether his boat was in the gate line, I think, as well as his head. There's no risk, I think, of a 2-second penalty. It's just checking that there isn't a 50-second penalty. Now, into the last upstream gate on his crossbow. Really chases the exit. Superb on the exit now, and he's going to do enough. No, 7th place at the moment, so he's in the mix, but he's going to have a nervous wait.
Yeah, we will have to wait and see, but there is still Michael Trave, Rafael Alexander, Sideris. Oh, it will be tight. It will be tight to be on the top 10. Wait and see for Nicolas.
Well, it's a good run, but it is tight out there. So the World Cup leader is having a nervous wait at the bottom, but Leonard Tuscherer of Germany joins the others in the final as we watch Ryan Wesley go for Great Britain now. On course, 2-time World Championship medalist, and he made the final last weekend. He was 7th, so can he join Adam Burgess in the final here in Tartzen?
It's great to see him back on the course. He had some trouble and injury in his shoulder, and it was quite hard for him, but now he's back on track, and it's good to see him.
Indeed, and you know, he's shown the pace in the first 2 World Cups, but he has had some untidy runs, so he's picked up penalties, Now the job here is for him to really deliver no margin for penalties as he comes down. 1.3 down on the first split, is still in touch with a place in the final.
Yeah, in contact, and all will replay at this middle section. So we choose to do a spin on the gate, which is quite fast, it's quite good, up the direct and upstream.
Nicely done for Ryan Wesley as he now approaches the second split. We'll get an indication as to whether he's still in contention. Well, slipped away a bit, 4.1 now, so he's right on the bubble, and he's going to have to find some time on the bottom section if he wants to progress into the final here.
Ali, you need to push hard to be on the top 10. We see the power reduce a little bit, it's quite hard now, so I don't know if it will be enough or not.
He had to duck off 19 and 20, which meant he was not able to fully deliver the power, and the time has slipped away on the bottom, and Ryan Wesley of Great Britain drops down to 14th place. So it's bad news for Ryan Wesley, but that is good news for Marko Mirgorodsky of Slovakia, who joins Leonard Tušera, Luka Bozic, Adam Burgess, Denis Gargochenou and Benjamin Savsek in the final. Nicolas Gestin of France now sitting on the bubble, the World Cup leader, and looking like he stands a chance.
Yeah, there is still a slightly chance, but with the last four, Slavkovski, Raffaello, Ivaldi, Miguel Travesi, Darius Stasiadis, we will have to wait.
Well, here is one of the big names of the sport, Alexander Slavkovski of Slovakia, on course now, wearing the #1 bib for a reason, and coming down through gate 4 and 5. His consistency perhaps not as good as it would be, and he hasn't yet made a final this season, which you find that hard to believe.
Yeah, that's strange. I think he had a little bit of trouble with his knee and all stuff, and it's hard one time, and there is a young generation coming and pushing hard, so
13th and 22nd in that order, so his best so far, 13th in Prague. Well, he takes on the move very nicely forward,
great.
11 and 12.
Great direct on the right side, and he really managed well.
So Slavkovski will get an indication there, 2.5 seconds down, but in touch with a place in the final. That's the job on this run. It's all about making sure you get into the top 10. You race from 0 again, and that's where you're going to launch a campaign for a place on the podium.
And if he continue to push until the end like this, it will be enough and good. We'll see, it will be tight. It will be really tight.
And he is in just inside. Well done, Alexander Slavkovski. You are in the final, your first final of the World Cup this season, and relief there. There's the coaching team from the Slovak team, and well, that means Nicolas Gestin of France still waiting to see if he's done enough. That's the World Cup leader, silver medalist and winner in the first 2 races. He's sitting on the bubble. 3 to go in this men's canoe semi-final. And on course now, Raffaello Ivaldi of Italy. 9th last weekend in Krakow. So he made the final there, 22nd in the first race of the season. Sorry, 25th in the first race of the season in Prague.
Allez, Raffaello on the top of the curves. Quite a good start from Raffaello. We will see the first split time.
Of course, the Italians looking forward to hosting the Junior and Under-23 World Championships in Ivrea. The 5th to the 10th, I think it is, the dates of July. So not long now before the focus shifts over there for the ICF Canoe Slalom community. But now into the upstream gate 10, and this is looking tidy on the top.
Wow, quite a tight at the gate number 11, but still good. Whoa, quite impressive on the upstream. We will see the second split time, as I think it's still in contact. Yes.
That's right. Well, if he can hold on to that deficit, then he will be in the final. At the moment, automatic qualification is 4.46 seconds off the race lead time. So he does have a little bit of time to play with, but not a lot, and it's very easy to drop quite significant time on the bottom. Super tight in 21. Now this is where he will push hard. I think he's done enough, and he is into 5th place.
Great job.
Well done, Raffaello. You are into the final. So there we have the supporters there. Ana Shatila running down the bank for the Brazilian team. Giovanni De Gennaro there, and Italy have an athlete in the final. So it is still... Oh, I'm just looking at Nicolas Gestin has been given a 2-second penalty.
Ah, yeah, exactly.
And that was on gate 12. And that has moved him right down the order. So the World Cup leader will not be into the final, even if he does kind of make it through. But that's unfortunate. And, well, that's opened the door for others still to come.
Yeah,
and
it's a surprise. It's a surprise of C1, like we was talking about, like... you never know, and the level is quite tough, hard, and concentrate, like you have changement all the time.
Yeah, and I have to say Alexander Slavkovsky still has an asterisk against his time, so he is currently clean, but if there is a review going on, then we'll keep you up to date with that. But on course, Miguel Trave of Spain, who is very much well, looking to get his season off to a good start. He had a good start at the European Championships, but he didn't do the first World Cup of the season, then 24th last weekend in Krakow, but he's in touch on the first split. Now, what can he do here? He looks like he's been quite quick through this tricky 10 to 13 sequence.
Yes, he's quick and he is in touch, and it's still, the time is good for a final. You need to continue and push hard until the end.
Well, he won the SEO World Cup, the last World Cup of the season last year, so he's very capable of getting into the final and challenging for the podium. A little bit of a plan B there on around gate 19.
Yes, I don't know it will be enough for the final, because yeah, the mistake on this gate.
And only 15th, so the time slips away at the bottom. And well, that does mean that Ondřej Berčić of Slovenia will be joining his other two compatriots, Luka Božič and Benjamin Savcek, in the final. And just a confirmation, Alexander Slavkovsky has now had his result confirmed, no change.
So 3 Slovenian in final. We will have a great crowd from the public here, and a great race. And now it's Matej Benus at the 10th place. He will be Benus or Sideris going to the final.
So one boat to go, and it is Sideris Tassiadis of Germany on course. Olympic medalist on 2 occasions, now coming down through into the upstream gate 3. As you say, Jean-Pierre, he has to beat 89.78. It's Matej Benus of Slovakia sitting, waiting to see if he will be in the final. And at the moment, 2.6 down and a review on gate 3.
Yes, we have to wait to the confirmation if it's yeah or not a penalty. You need to push harder to continue to be on the top 10. It's not done yet. The job has to be done from Sideris.
Well, yes, we saw from Jessica Fox in the women's canoe semi-final, who made a big, she had it all under control, made a big mistake in the middle section, and she just managed to sneak into the final where she goes again. Sideris is, well, he's still just about in touch, but he's got to deliver the bottom section.
3.2 seconds, it's still on the course. We will see at the end. Sideris Tassiadis on the last upstream. You have to give all the power you can on the last. Yes, it's good.
I think this is enough. I think it is enough for Germany's Sideris Tassiadis. He goes into 4th place. And, well, he does get the 2-second penalty at the top of the course. So that is a quick time. And he is nearer the time of Savcek and Gargo Chanu. But he gets to breathe again. Sideris Tassiadis, there he is, will be in the final for Germany. So the Slovenians have a lot to look forward to. They have a boat in the women's canoe final and 3 boats in the 10-boat men's canoe final. And Benjamin Savcek for Slovenia goes off last in that final. The Olympic champion was the fastest raw time, and well, not a lot of space for penalties in the top 10.
No, definitely you will need to have a clean run in final. Not a lot of mistake on this top 10 paddler, really a strong level, so we are looking forward for a great final in C1.
Well, what an exciting race it is just to get into the final. Super tight. We clearly said goodbye to a few big names, including Nicolas Gestin of France, who've been on the podium for the first two of the World Cups so far this season. We've also said goodbye to Olympic silver medalist Lukáš Rohan of the Czech Republic, eliminated at this stage of the competition, but still wide open, and a super exciting finale is queued up. And at 11:30 Central European time, in less than half an hour, we get underway with the women's canoe final, and then we immediately follow that on with the men's canoe final. Then this afternoon, the focus will shift to extreme kayak. 2 more gold medals to hand out in the men's and women's extreme kayak. We'll follow that live here at Planet Canoe at 4:30 Central European time. So here, well, Ryan Wesley missed out as well on the final after making the final last weekend.
Yeah, also a surprise to not see him succeed on being on the top 10 today in Tatsen for the World Cup 3.
Alexander Slavkovsky, though, for Slovakia, makes his first final of the season. Probably just what he wants going into the World Championships.
Yeah, quite a breath for him, and a good preparation for the World Championship. And it's good. It's good to be confident before heading to the World Championship and have a great race for the last World Cup.
So here are the results for the men's canoe semi-final. Benjamin Sapsik leads the way. He'll go off last in the final. 2 Olympic champions, the top 2 positions, joined by the likes of Sidiris Tassiadis, Adam Burgess, Alexander Slavkovsky. So there Matej Penus misses out, and Lukáš Rohan of the Czech Republic, the silver medalist from the Tokyo Games, and will be out of contention for the final. So join us again in just over 20 minutes for the final of the women's canoe here in Tartsant, Slovenia. Then it'll follow on with the men's canoe competition. Jean-Pierre Bourry, thank you very much for joining me in the booth.
Thanks to you, it was great to have the commentary of the C1 semi-final.
And from me, Andy Maddock, it's goodbye for now. We'll see you at the final in 20 minutes.